Good morning. You are listening to UpReach, a morning devotional presented by the Church Street Church of Christ in Lewisburg, Tennessee, to encourage you as you face the opportunities and challenges of today. Let's begin this day together with some inspiring thoughts from God's holy word. Unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it. Unless the Lord guards the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he gives his beloved sleep. Psalm 127, verses 1 and 2. Coming into the promised land in business will change the way you and I view our work. No longer will we see getting up early and staying up late as God's way. Living in the promised land in work means we know that God is the source of our provision and that our work is an act of worship to Him. Provision is a byproduct, not an end in itself. Work is no longer something that must be sweated and toiled upon to make ends meet. Can this really be true, you may be asking? God makes it clear that with obedience comes the assurance of provision. Whenever we go beyond the normal workday due to fear of non-provision, we are actually operating in unbelief. We are saying that it is up to us to make things happen. Sure, there are times when we work longer hours due to a deadline, but we must be sure the motive is not out of fear of loss or fear of non-provision. If we are obedient to that to which God calls us, He will provide our every need. This can be a hard lesson for goal-oriented workplace believers. I once knew a man who gradually came into this understanding. He had been a workaholic. Long hours were common. Then God shook up his world, and he was challenged by a friend to examine his motives for working long hours. He soon realized the source of those long hours was personal fear. Once he came to this realization, he refused to work long hours again, even though the natural man would tell him he would never make things happen if he worked a normal work week. Again, this reasoning is based on a lack of faith. If each of us is obedient to that to which God is calling us, we will not lack for anything. At times we may have less than what we might like. At other times we may have more than we deserve. These are God's ways. The Bible tells us to come out of Babylon. Babylon represents a system of work and philosophy that is contrary to God's ways. What about you today? Are you operating in any aspect of work from a Babylonian value system? Ask the Lord to reveal this to you. Why not begin to walk in the freedom He has given us, even in our work life? This has been UpReach, a presentation of the Church Street Church of Christ in Lewisburg, Tennessee. I am Kyle Bolton, the pulpit minister at Church Street, and I would like to personally invite you to come and share times of Bible study and worship with us each week. We meet every Sunday at 9 o'clock a.m. for our morning worship, followed by our Sunday school for all ages at 10:15 a.m. Then we meet again at 6 o'clock p.m. for our evening worship. We also have a midweek meeting for devotion and Bible study on Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. I hope to see you there. Have a blessed day.
Here I labor and toil as I look for a home, just an humble abode among men. While in heaven a mansion is waiting for me, and the gentle voice pleading, come in. There's a mansion now empty, just waiting for me, at the end of life's troublesome way. Many friends and dear loved ones will welcome me there, near the door of that mansion someday.
Ever thankful am I that my Savior and Lord promised us